that the Vikings have lost to, coming off of that loss to the Bears in Chicago. Adam Thielen talking about the offense not going deep enough. Diggs had a week in which he missed meetings and practices that reportedly cost him multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars of fines from the team. I mean, the drama is thick. And meanwhile, the once upon a time 0-2 Giants are loving life with Daniel Jones, Kim Jones.
Well, they are indeed. But let's talk about those Vikings, Rich, with the frustrations with Stephon Diggs and the Vikings reaching a boiling point this week. I talked to cornerback Xavier Rhodes, who told me we're trying to move forward. We need a win. He also mentioned this is a Vikings team that has its eye on not only winning the division, but also making the playoffs. They know that could come in time. But at the moment, we are still talking about the dysfunction between Kirk Cousins and his wide receivers. And here it is now, set to music.
It's time to have a serious conversation about Kirk Cousins, and we're going to have it right here. Because this team, as we all know, when they signed him to the first ever fully guaranteed contract, 3 years, $84 million, they were just coming off of an NFC Championship game appearance that Case Keenum led them to a 7-0 lead in that game. So that was the floor. Once Kirk Cousins walked in the door.
Right.
Get us to the NFC Championship game and at least a touchdown lead. Otherwise, we've already been here before. Yeah. Now, Kurt, here we are 1 year in plus. No playoff appearance last year. Now 2-2. There appears to be an open mutiny going on that also involves the coach and his style of wanting to play offense. Is it a mistake? Was it a mistake for the Vikings to do what they did with Kirk Cousins?
Well, let's just put the caveat that it's not over yet. I mean, he's got 3 years, I think, to prove what you're talking about. But if you're looking at it right now, yes, it was a mistake. This is not a better team. This is a worse team with more turmoil right now. I mean, last year, they didn't even make the playoffs. I mean, 7-8-1 as a record. Right now, you've got receivers calling this guy out. And when I watch him play on tape, I feel like he's a shell of himself. I feel like he's afraid to play football because he's afraid to make a mistake. He's afraid that he can't live up to that contract and that guaranteed money that he was given. And I remember talking to him before he signed with Minnesota, and he fully understood where they were the year before that they got to the NFC Championship game, and that his role in coming in there was to take them that next step, was to get them to the Super Bowl. So that, I know, has been on his mind since the day that he signed that contract. But if you're looking at this right now and where they're at and how he's played and where the team is compared to where they were when he got there, I would say, yes, they believe it's a mistake that they went that route right now.
Yeah, I don't think it's a mistake. I think he was the best quarterback available. They tried to make an upgrade. I don't know if Case Keenum would have brought them to the playoffs last year either. And we can criticize how he's playing. He's fumbling the football and he's not winning games or throwing the ball down the field. That's the style that the head coach wants to play. He's been through 4 different offensive coordinators. It's like, run the ball. We have a good defense. And I can see where the frustration with the receivers will lie. But here's the thing. You can criticize his performance because it isn't as good as we've seen him play at times. But we can't criticize the contract. He's got a hell of a contract, okay? I'm saying 3 years and it's all guaranteed. Don't hold that against him, because there are a lot of quarterbacks in this league who have not won a playoff game that have over $100 million contracts. Carson Wentz, Jimmy Garoppolo, Matthew Stafford, Derek Carr, Dalton, all these guys.
Coach, there's a lot of potential in that, and that's what they're paying for in that. They thought they were getting a finished product in this young man because he's been in the league long enough. Those guys you're talking about are young guys, and they're still looking forward to these guys growing and becoming great players. This guy right here, man, and listen, guys, I always say, pressure does one or two things to people. It makes the good fold, but it makes the great focus. And when we look at this, when you look at all the times that he's been in a pressure situation, he's folded in those pressure situations, and he's in a pressure situation right now. So when Kurt, you start talking about how he's not feeling confident, that permeates your room. Those receivers, they know this. They know you're getting gunshot, and that's why they're saying what they're saying right now.
Let me just hold on, if you don't mind. Let me just jump in here. So you see Diggs on the screen here and Thielen as well. Now, a lot of folks think that we're still wondering what the truth in the rumor is that Diggs had mentioned today, and he's, as you see, getting his freak on, getting ready for the game. A lot of folks were wondering if Thielen was referring to what you were alluding to, Steve, in Mike Zimmer. Now, you guys know Zimmer very well here, and you mentioned the number of the churning of offensive coordinators, and part of what a head coach needs to do is make do with the people that you have, and perhaps the style that's going on right now, and the sense of you're not going to be the one that we're putting the game on your shoulders, Kirk Cousins, that helps add to the pressure. So my question for you is Zimmer doing the right thing?
But Zim's going by what he's seen. Zim's going by what he's seen. Zim said, "Hey man, I had a defense. I had everything I needed. I'm pretty sure you guys sold me on Kirk Cousins, and now he's getting out here, and we're not getting it done. We're going to go back to running football, and we can win with our defense." That's what Zim said, and I do believe that's what Adam Thielen was talking about also. I don't think he was pointed at Kirk.
Yeah, saying to the head coach, take the hands off of 10 and 2 and a foot off the brake here. Let's let him drive the car.
But I feel like they've tried that in the past, and that's why
exactly
Zim has pulled back. But I was just going to say, Coach, you say don't get mad at the contract, and I fully agree. I'm happy for all the players that get their money. But we have to understand in this business, when you sign those deals, no matter who you are, whether you've proven it or not proven it.
Expectations come with it.
Yes. When you sign those deals, there is an expectation that you have to play up to your deal, whether it's fair or unfair. That is part of the business. And when you sign on the dotted line, you understand the expectations that come with it. Again, not faulting him for signing on the dotted line and going there because, as you said, he was a free guy. He earned that, but you also have to live up to that expectation, which is not an easy thing to do.
You want to talk about, again, pressure, the difference between the Vikings being 3-2, putting potentially all of this behind them with the deodorant of a win, as opposed to 2-3, where they go home and take on, just to bring this all full circle, the same Giants. Eagles team that they played in that NFC Championship game. I mean, could you imagine they go home 2-3 to take on that Eagles team who's never lost to the Jets ever since the Super Bowl era began, and they take on the Jets today?